Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
I'm Brett Neeson, the WRAL Breaking News Tracker in downtown Durham this morning, where a major intersection is closed, all due to an overnight crash. Coming up, how much longer you should avoid this area.
And the sunshine is starting to break out across the area. I'll have your forecast for the State Fair and a look at when we're going to end up seeing our next chance of rain.
Plus, a plane full of Americans who are stranded in Israel are now home safe. We have the latest on the efforts to move those civilians to safety. 10 days into that war between Israel and Hamas. Still updates to come. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Well, we are entering our first full week of the North Carolina State Fair, right? I was there on Saturday. It was rainy. It was horrible. But you know what? It's not going to be horrible today. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be a nice day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, you need the sweater or the light jacket if you're heading out this morning.
It's chilly out there. We'll take another live look at the State Fair. This is looking from the Dorton Arena. And you can see this is getting kind of near the kiddie rides area. It is 49 degrees, so it is definitely cool this morning, and we'll see a very slow warm up. Lots of 40s showing up right now at 8 o'clock. 47 in Southern Pines and Goldsboro, 49 in Clinton, 49 in the Triangle, 41 right now in Roxborough. And speaking of chilly, the mountains are expected to see a few snow flurries early this morning, the first ones of the season. Our temperatures are running anywhere from 5 to around 10 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday, but it will be a pleasant afternoon at the fair. We'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies and high temperatures in the low 60s. We're checking Futurecast, and we're starting off again with a little cloud cover. We'll see some sunshine midday, and then another disturbance swings through this evening, mostly just bringing some clouds. There would only be a tiny chance of a sprinkle with this. And then after that, we're nice and dry up until Friday. Today, again, on the cool side with a high of just 63 degrees. We're going to walk through the timeline for Friday's showers coming up, Brian.
8:02 right now. We have been following that breaking news in Durham with that intersection at Main Street at Fayetteville Street partially blocked because of an overnight crash. Took out some utility poles there. Brett Neese will have an update coming up in just a little bit. But to avoid using that intersection if you can this morning, if you're trying to get from 147 into downtown Durham, consider using Alston Avenue or Roxborough Street as good alternate routes. You could also use Pettigrew Street as a good alternate to Main Street to get between all of that. I'm not seeing any big delays right now, which is good news. Just getting reports of a crash, though, on 885. This is right around the Ellis Road interchange. I'm working to learn exactly where that is, whether it's on northbound or southbound 885. But right now, sensors are indicating that you're hitting the brakes between 147 and I-40 in either direction. About a 10-minute delay showing up on either side. Hope to have some more information coming up in just a little bit. Noticing a little bit of a backup starting to form now on 40 eastbound coming in from Hillsborough back toward Chapel Hill. Looks like if you can pick up 40 eastbound from 86, you should be on the other side of that. Just getting reports of a crash with injuries south of Raleigh, there on the north side of Fuquay-Varina at Lake Wheeler Road at 1010 Road. Pretty heavy delay showing up in both directions of 1010 Road this morning, so give yourself some extra time through there. That earlier crash at Wake Forest Road near Hodges Street has cleared, but we still have a crash at Gorman Street around Tryon Road, and I'm still seeing some heavy delays on I-40 westbound in South Raleigh this morning, beginning right around the Rock Quarry Road interchange through Lake Wheeler Road out toward the US 1 interchange. Looks like there may be a crash out at the Carytown Boulevard area. Working to get some details about that. Also just getting reports of a crash with injuries at Garner Road at Auburn Church Road. And we are seeing some pretty heavy delays on Garner Road right now.
This intersection has been closed since before 6 a.m. after a crash took out a power pole and 2 sets of traffic lights. Take a look at the damage in this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. That's the pole that was snapped at its base. These are the traffic lights that came down with it at Fayetteville Street and Main Street. Part of the intersection is blocked off so crews can work to replace the pole and put the lights back up. That work will take several hours, if not all morning. Police ask that you avoid this area while the intersection is closed. I'm working to learn what exactly caused this early morning crash. In Durham, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Well, take a look at this alarming cell phone video captured by somebody that was at the parade in Durham. This morning, we're working to learn more about a car that was seen speeding the wrong way right through this parade route. You see that black car there. WRAL's Laura Levine is live in Durham. And Laura, someone you spoke with says this scary situation reminded them of the Raleigh Christmas parade last year.
Yeah, Michelle, we are hearing from people who were at this event, and parade goers were standing exactly where I am right now along Fayetteville Street, watching as the parade went by, celebrating, cheering, having a good time, as they do each and every year for Hillside's homecoming parade. Well, that celebration quickly turned into panic as a speeding car came flying through the parade route. I want you to take a close look at this video. We have slowed it down for you and turned down the volume. You can see a black car plowing through the ongoing parade traffic. In the video, we could hear people screaming and shouting as well. Deputies chased that car as participants tried to dodge the chaos. Councilman Leonardo Williams, I spoke with him over the phone, and he tells me he was walking alongside the parade route when the car barely missed him and children from R.N. Harris Elementary School who were marching in the parade. He says that when it ended, all he could really think about was the tragedy that occurred at the Raleigh Christmas parade.
That was the afterthought. I was like, first Raleigh, now us. Hopefully we've learned, we are going to learn from this today and better secure the parade for NCCU's homecoming, which is going to be populated even more. So we'll definitely tackle down on this challenge and make sure we're all set.
Luckily, this event didn't end in a tragedy here at the intersection of Fayetteville and Cook. However, deputies who were handling traffic flow, they actually had to stop two reckless drivers on dirt bikes who were trying to enter the parade without permission. Durham police had to come and arrest them. They also arrested a woman who was with them who had a felony warrant. So we're still working this morning to learn if those individuals have any connection to that speeding car who plowed through traffic here yesterday. We will continue to follow this story. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Durham.
The Palestinian Authority president is making his first clear denouncement of the Hamas attacks on Israel. Mahmoud Abbas said the militant group's actions do not represent the Palestinian people. This comes as the Palestinian embassy announced the border into Egypt will be open today for more people to cross. Israel also is saying it will soon reopen the water supply to southern parts of Gaza.
We are trying now to move the civilians so that they will not be hurt, and we want to go in and uproot that infrastructure of terror.
According to NBC News, the Prime Minister of Israel has invited Biden to on a solidarity visit. An official says the White House is considering that request.
And a plane load of Americans coming from Israel arrived in Tampa, Florida last night. More than 270 Americans were on that charter flight. They were stranded in Israel after Hamas fighters attacked the Jewish state. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey greeted passengers as they stepped off the plane. Florida partnered with the nonprofit group Project Dynamo to bring them home. DeSantis says he expects there will be more flights in the coming days. And this morning, the group Jewish Voice for Peace plans to rally against the war. At 9 a.m. this morning, they plan to gather at the office of Congresswoman Valerie Foushee in Durham. They're calling for action that would lead to ceasefire as well as humanitarian assistance.
A man is in the hospital with serious injuries after a shooting in Raleigh. It happened last night on Durland Drive. This is video from that scene. Officers say the man was shot several times. A suspect is in custody. Police believe the shooting was the result of a domestic dispute. That incident remains under investigation. Fayetteville police are investigating after a report of a shooting. This happened last night on B Street. Crime scene tape was up around a house, a single-story home there. A forensic unit was on the scene as well. We've reached out to police for more information.
And we're working to learn if anyone was hurt in this crash on Turnip Seed Road between Clayton and Wendell. The WRAL breaking news tracker got this video. A single sedan had heavy damage. And 4 people are still in the hospital this morning after a deadly crash near Anger. It happened around 2:15 Sunday afternoon on Old Stage Road. Troopers say 53-year-old Angela Hinton of Willow Springs was traveling south in an SUV, crossed the center line and crashed head-on into an SUV driven by 25-year-old Gilberto Galvan of Anger. Both of them died at the scene. 4 other people who were in Hinton's vehicle are in the hospital. No word on their conditions.
Starting this week, high school seniors have a chance to save some money on college application fees. More than 100 colleges and universities across our state will be waiving those fees during the annual college application week. Begins today, runs through Friday. Students do have to apply through the College Foundation of North Carolina's website, CFNC. A full list of participating colleges and universities is on the site. Unfortunately, UNC Chapel Hill, App State, and NC State are not participating.
Starting today, updated COVID-19 vaccine appointments begin for those who don't have health insurance. The Durham County Public Health Department is offering Moderna and Pfizer vaccines for those 6 months and older. These appointments are for people who don't have private health care coverage. They don't have Medicaid, Medicare, or their insurance doesn't cover COVID vaccines. If you're uninsured, you can schedule an appointment by calling that number at the bottom of your screen.
Week 6 in the NFL. Michelle couldn't bear to read this script, so I'm taking it. Sunday Night Football last night. The New York Giants, Buffalo Bills down to the wire. Incomplete pass on the last play of the game from the 1-yard line. That close to avoiding an upset. Well, the Giants lose it 14-9. The Bills do avoid that upset. Tonight, the Dallas Cowboys face the Los Angeles Chargers. That one's at SoFi Stadium. You can catch it tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN.
All right, coming up for us, your kids may be overwhelmed while trying to understand the war in Israel. We have advice from a doctor on how to tackle those difficult conversations.
Plus, more than 200,000 Ford vehicles are being recalled. We'll tell you if your car is affected by this and what you should be looking out for.
And it's going to be a cool couple of days with highs in the 60s. Thursday will be the warmest day of the week, and then a front comes through on Friday. That one will bring us our best chance for rain. I'll walk you through the timeline. 8:14, time for a little bit of show and tell. I had the absolute pleasure of heading up to the mountains over the weekend, and we did this wonderful hike on the side of Grandfather Mountain with gorgeous views. The color at 4,000 feet and higher, just fantastic. The top of Grandfather Mountain is almost 6,000 feet, so you've got all this color in the tops of the mountains. But if you're not headed there for another couple of weeks, you're still going to see all this color moving down the mountains. I think probably around the Boone area, there's going to be some gorgeous color this weekend, and around maybe even the very last weekend of October, still around the Asheville area. So you've got 2 solid weeks of really good color left, and then some lingering color into November too. We take a look at Goldsboro. It's partly cloudy, looking at some clouds and sun there in Apex, looking pretty in Chapel Hill and in Fayetteville by our newsroom this morning. We had some cloud cover earlier, but those clouds are really starting to break up nicely. We're going to see a lovely afternoon. We do have the potential for a disturbance to roll through this afternoon to bring us some more cloud cover pretty late in the day, and maybe a sprinkle, but most of us will end up staying dry. A little warmer by Wednesday as we're back into the 70s, but then followed by a front on Friday, which will bring us our next best chance for rain. Today, 63, tomorrow, 66, and 70 on Wednesday. These are your next 3 days at the State Fair. All lovely. I'll tell you what, Monday is my pick for the day at the fair. It tends to have the lowest attendance dates, and depending on rainfall and all that, it's going to be a beautiful day out there, and you should have the least amount of lines to deal with. You can see a little bit of patchy rain here around parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. This disturbance will swing on through our area later on this evening and may bring us some cloud cover, but we should stay fairly dry. This front is the one that'll end up bringing us some rain on Friday, but this is 6 p.m. on Friday. That rain is still to our west, and it kind of swings past us. We'll see how it goes. It may be that we are able to get through most of the day Friday without seeing rain. It may linger into Saturday morning, but we'll get the high resolution models in a couple of days. Make sure you check back if you have plans to be out at the fair on Friday night or anywhere on Friday night. Right now, we're giving it just a 30% chance. Our forecast rainfall for Friday is only 1/4 inch or less, so it's not going to be a big soaker for us. We take a look at our tropical outlook. This system moving across the Atlantic, 70% chance of developing. The computer model plots have it continuing westward and then maybe a shift up to the north. And it's way too early to tell exactly if that one's going to affect the United States. Friday, we'll see a high of 70, but behind Friday's front, we're cooler with 60s for the weekend. Brian?
8:16 right now, Elizabeth. And as we take a look at Durham, getting some new information about this crash on the Durham Freeway. This is on the southbound side of 885 between Glover Road and Ellis Road. We are seeing a 5-minute delay through there, but good news on the northbound side. A lot of those backups have eased, and now we're seeing just a 2-minute slowdown as you head between I-40 up toward the TW Alexander Drive interchange. We do have that earlier crash that has closed a section of Fayetteville Street at Main Street. If you're coming in from Elizabeth Street toward Main Street, you're in good shape from the north, but from 147 up to Main Street, don't use Fayetteville Street this morning. Consider alternate routes, maybe Alston Avenue or Roxborough Street, and you can use Pettigrew Street as a good alternate for Main Street till they can get all that cleared up. We do have a crash reported on 40 eastbound right around the Highway 86 interchange there on the north side of Chapel Hill. Heavy delays coming in from Hillsborough this morning. You might consider using 86 itself as a good alternate route to avoid getting caught up in that. A couple of crashes I'm watching in Wake County, one at Lake Wheeler Road at 1010 Road, reportedly with injuries. Past couple of minutes, the live sensor updates are indicating that 1010 Road is starting to look a little better out there, but still look out for activity as they work to get that cleared. And on the east side of Garner, heading out toward Clayton, watch for a crash at Garner Road around Auburn Church Road. Reportedly, this is an overturned vehicle, and we are seeing some backups in both directions of Garner Road.
North Carolina State Fair is in full swing, bringing in big crowds for the second day of opening weekend. Yesterday, the fair hosted its Accessibility Day. So if you were there in the morning, you may have noticed some things were a bit quieter than usual. The vendors and the rides had all the music and lights turned off to accommodate people with sensory sensitivities. The fair also added adult changing stations and handed out noise-canceling headphones, hoping to show a world of acceptance and awareness.
I think everyone should be able to come and experience the fair. There's something for everyone, so it's nice that people are thinking about including everyone.
Everybody is different, and there are so many people in the world that are differently abled, and so why not be inclusive?
Organizers also created a bandwidth chill-out zone for kids and families who need a break. Remember, look for our tent on the northeast side of Dorton Arena facing Restaurant Row. Today you have a chance to meet these folks right here from WRAL. Ken Smith and Anthony Baglione will be there 10:30 to 11:30 this morning. Then it's Deborah Morgan and Dan Haggerty this afternoon, greeting viewers from 2 to 3.
Well, Orange County deputies are investigating a woman's death. That's after they found her body off Heron Pond Road just before 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Authorities said the woman was white and in her 30s. While an official cause of death has not been determined, we've learned that she died sometime over the weekend. Deputies are withholding the woman's name until next of kin is notified.
Ford is recalling more than 238,000 Explorers. The company says the vehicles could roll away if the parking brake isn't used. The Explorers potentially affected are from the years 2020 to 2022. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Ford will repair those cars free of charge.
Current world conflicts like the Israel-Hamas war may have some children feeling overwhelmed. We're getting some advice this morning from Dr. Amy Lee with Cleveland Clinic Children's. And Dr. Lee suggests limiting your child's exposure to social media, which content to avoid, and also taking social media breaks, and why that's so important. She also recommends that you be mindful of what you watch on TV or what you say around your children. Dr. Lee says, bottom line, open communication is key.
Younger kids are going to be more concerned with their own safety or changes that may happen in their own, smaller world. And so parents can offer reassurance, or they can offer simple explanations of how situations may be different in different places.
And Dr. Lee and other experts also recommend parents with older children should be proactive in having this conversation. Don't wait for your children to come to you. Experts say it's not an easy conversation, but a necessary one.
A shooting at the Texas State Fair forced an emergency evacuation over the weekend. Dallas police say 3 people were hurt when someone opened fire at the fair's food court Saturday night. They think 22-year-old Cameron Turner is the one who pulled the trigger, ran from the scene, was later caught, taken into custody. Police also found the gun. The 3 injured are expected to be okay. The fair reopened yesterday with more security.
Today, you have a chance to give your input on what's in the Raleigh city budget. A listening session is happening today from 6 to 7:30 at John Chavis Park Community Center Reception Hall. City officials want the community's input on things like transportation, housing, parking, and the environment. If you can't make it to today's session, there's another one tomorrow at Carolina Pines Community Center. Well, today, 2 parks in Sanford will close while crews work on repairs there. The fountain at Depot Park will be turned off so crews can fix cracks. The playground at Kiwanis Family Park will also close while the play cushion surface is resealed, and a temporary fence will be put around the structure for now.
All across the U.S., but mostly out west, Americans looked up to the skies to see something spectacular. It was a rare solar eclipse called the Ring of Fire. This annular solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and Earth and creates that fiery orange ring around the moon's shadow. No matter the age, viewers were over the moon about this.
Just a marvel of the universe. You know, the more you look at the universe and look at what's out there, the more wondrous it is. It's just absolutely amazing.
You know, if you missed this eclipse, don't worry. A total eclipse, which will create complete darkness, just like the one we saw in 2017. Remember that? It's going to happen again in just 6 months.
The NC Courage clinched a spot in the playoffs last night during their game against the Washington Spirit. They'll be hosting New Jersey, New York, Gotham next Sunday at Wake Med Soccer Park. This is the first time for the Courage to be in the playoffs since 2021.
Here we have some scary moments at a Durham High School homecoming parade. The moments a car sped right through this parade route, and we'll hear from a councilman who was walking right by that car when it came through.
And George Floyd would have turned 50 years old this weekend. How people in his hometown of Fayetteville are honoring his life.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Monday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. A chilly start for your Monday. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look over Apex. It's going to be a beautiful day, though.
It is. Look at this. Gorgeous start here this morning. We're seeing mostly sunny skies. We had some cloud cover just before sunrise, but those clouds have been dissipating nicely. We'll see a lot of sunshine starting off this morning. Temperatures are in the low 50s for the most part. If you're headed out to the State Fair, it will be a cool day. You're going to want a jacket or a sweater maybe for much of the day. Highs will only be in the low 60s. We'll see some increase in our cloud cover this evening, but it stays dry, Brian.
Elizabeth, we're watching some delays right now on 40 eastbound between Hillsborough and Chapel Hill. As we zoom in there, you can see some heavy backups on 40 eastbound beginning around the old 86 interchange through New Hope Church Road. It clears up by the time you get to Highway 86. It might be a good morning if you're trying to get from Hillsborough to Chapel Hill to use 86 itself as a good alternate route. Also watching some delays on the Durham Freeway. Good news in the past couple of minutes. They seem to be easing up pretty nicely, but look out for some potential police activity out on 885 southbound around Ellis Road from that earlier crash. An overnight crash in Durham has partially blocked Main at Fayetteville Streets. Look for alternate routes this morning coming in from 147.
Thank you, Brian. We're working to learn more about a scary moment caught on camera at Hillside High's homecoming parade in Durham. You can see a driver speeding through the parade route, driving the wrong way. Deputies told WRAL drivers on dirt bikes were arrested after trying to join the parade without permission. And this week, more than 100 colleges and universities across the state will be waiving fees during annual college application week. Students must apply through the College Foundation of North Carolina's website. And coming up next on Fox 50, you'll want to grab the jacket as you head out the door. Elizabeth tells us when we'll see the coolest day of the week.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
I'm Brett Neeson, the WRAL Breaking News Tracker in downtown Durham this morning, where a major intersection is closed, all due to an overnight crash. Coming up, how much longer you should avoid this area.
Homecoming celebrations here in Durham quickly turn into chaos after a speeding car plows through a homecoming parade. Just ahead, we'll show you that video and hear firsthand accounts from people here at the scene.
And it's a nice start this morning. Our temperatures have been cool, but our skies are mostly clear as the State Fair is about to open on a Monday morning. I'll show you which days look the wettest coming up.
Plus, Americans who are stranded in Israel are now home safe. The latest on the efforts to evacuate civilians out of dangerous areas. We'll have that update coming up for you, as well as a lot more for your Monday morning. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, thanks for making this part of your routine here on our Monday. We start a new work week, school week, first full week out at the fair. Lots going on. Elizabeth Gardner's in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We've got a good one on tap today.
We do. This is going to be a nice one. And, you know, honestly, Monday is my favorite day at the fair because the crowds tend to be a little bit lower on Monday. The lines are a little bit shorter, and we're going to have a gorgeous day for it, too. Mostly sunny skies right now, 49 degrees, so it's a little bit cool, and we're 30 minutes away from the gates opening there at the fairgrounds. Right now, it's 46 in South Hill and 41 in Roxborough, 52 in Fayetteville, and 47 in Southern Pines. So it's pretty chilly out there. Our temperatures in some places are as much as 5 to 10 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. Your State Fair planner looks like this. We're going to climb into the low 60s this afternoon. A lot of sunshine midday. We'll see some increasing clouds this evening, but we will end up staying dry. We have more dry air in our forecast, too. You can see all this sunshine at lunchtime. And then here's a disturbance that drops in on us, I'd say mid to late afternoon. We're not showing any rain really with this, but a sprinkle or two could happen, which shouldn't be enough to scare you away from any outdoor plans that you have. We'll see a high of 63 today. It will warm up a little bit later in the week, and we'll round out the work week on Friday with a front with a chance of rain. I'll show you coming up, Brian.
Elizabeth, it is now 8:32, and we are watching some heavy delays on 40 eastbound heading away from Hillsborough back toward Chapel Hill. We have a report of a crash out there. Over the past couple of minutes, though, it looks like things are easing up maybe a little bit, but still between Old 86 down to New Hope Church Road, you're seeing some heavy traffic. And then again, as you approach the Highway 86 interchange on the north side of Chapel Hill, overall, we are measuring a 15-minute delay on 40 eastbound from I-85 down to 15501. If you're leaving Hillsborough trying to get to Chapel Hill this morning, consider using 86 itself. That should save you at least a little bit of time through there. Watch for some delays in Durham with an earlier crash reported on the southbound side of 885 right around Ellis Road. Looks like that is clearing up and the delays are not as bad as they were just a little while ago. In downtown Durham, a major intersection still partially closed there at the intersection of Main Street at Fayetteville Street from an overnight crash. Brett Neese will be along with an update here in just a little bit. Want to give you a good alternate route, though, to get around that mess this morning. Consider using Alston Avenue or Roxborough Street as good alternates from 147 into the downtown area. You could also use Pettigrew Street as an alternate to Main Street. A couple other crashes that we're watching. One on the south of Raleigh on Lake Wheeler Road at 1010 Road. It looks like that one is mostly cleared at this point. There still could be some residual activity there. Also on the east side of Garner heading out toward Clayton, an earlier crash at Garner Road at Auburn Church Road in the clearing stages.
This intersection has been closed since before 6 a.m. after a crash took out a power pole and 2 sets of traffic lights. Take a look at the damage in this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. That's the pole that was snapped at its base. These are the traffic lights that came down with it at Fayetteville Street and Main Street. Part of the intersection is blocked off so crews can work to replace the pole and put the lights back up. That work will take several hours, if not all morning. Police ask that you avoid this area while the intersection is closed. I'm working to learn what exactly caused this early morning crash. In Durham, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
This moment caught on video during a parade in Durham is raising a lot of concern this morning. A driver speeds through right there through that parade route, nearly hits people in the crowd. WRAL's Laura Levine spoke with someone who was right near that car when it came through.
Each and every year, Hillside High School's homecoming parade brings in big crowds as people are looking to celebrate and have a good time celebrating the history and culture here. Parade goers were standing exactly where I am right now along Fayetteville Street. As that parade traveled, that celebration quickly turned into panic as a speeding car came flying through parade traffic. Take a closer look at this Facebook video showing you the moments of when that black car came plowing through. In the video, we could hear people screaming and shouting. Deputies chased that car down as participants tried to dodge the chaos. Councilman Leonardo Williams tells me over the phone he was walking along the parade route when the car barely missed him and children from R.N. Harris Elementary School who were marching in the parade.
I just remember hearing someone scream, "Move, move, move." And it was the lady in the car in front of us, Representative Zach Hawkins and myself, were standing just alongside the street talking to folks, the parade goers, and we heard her screaming. We looked up and there was a car coming toward us. at least 60, 70 miles per hour.
He also mentioned other city leaders were in the parade, including Mayor O'Neill. He also said that this reminded him of the tragic events of the Raleigh Christmas parade, looking to learn how they can find other safety measures for upcoming events. Here at the intersection of Cook and Fayetteville, deputies who were handling traffic had to stop two reckless dirt bike drivers who were trying to enter the parade without permission. Durham police say they arrested those two people. They also arrested a woman with a felony warrant. We're working to learn if any of those individuals have any connection to that speeding car that drove through the parade. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Durham.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has invited President Biden to travel to Israel. That's according to a senior U.S. official. The White House is said to be considering the request. The president continues to pledge his unwavering support for Israel amid its war with Hamas, as well as his administration's efforts to combat anti-Semitism.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Japan is preparing to evacuate people from Israel. This is new video into our newsroom. You saw a couple of aircraft just now. You see the Japanese troops preparing to head to a base in Djibouti so they can be ready at a moment's notice to transport people from Israel. Of course, tensions remain high in the Middle East as we've been reporting on the Israel-Hamas war. The Japanese government is also arranging charter flights to help Japanese nationals who might be stuck in Israel right now, help them get to safety. This is a story that we'll be tracking here in the WRAL Live Center and keep you updated.
Also, Ken, similar topic. A plane load of Americans coming from Israel arrived in Tampa, Florida last night. More than 270 Americans were on that charter flight. They were stranded in Israel after Hamas firefighters attacked that Jewish state. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his wife greeted passengers as they stepped off the plane. The state of Florida partnered with the nonprofit group Project Dynamo to bring them home. DeSantis says he expects there'll be more flights in the coming days. Here in the Triangle, people are holding rallies and demonstrations, including a major one in downtown Raleigh in support of Palestinians. Some demand the return of displaced Palestinians to what is now Israel. Others support two states but want Gaza to have control over resources regulated by Israel. People at the rally also denounced the United States' aid to Israel. This was a peaceful protest. There were no counter-protesters.
A man is in the hospital with serious injuries after a shooting in Raleigh. This happened last night on Durlane Drive. This is video from the scene. Officers say the man was shot multiple times. They do have a suspect in custody, and police believe the shooting was the result of a domestic dispute. The incident remains under investigation. Well, parents, if your child is a high school senior, we have a way that you can save money this week. All week long, you can save money and apply to North Carolina colleges for free. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has the details.
More than 100 colleges and universities across the state are participating in this, including Meredith College. And this could be a game changer for a lot of families out there. The average college application fee is about $55. So if your high school senior is applying to multiple schools, those fees can add up. Students must apply through the College Foundation of North Carolina's website to opt out of the application fee. You can find a full list of participating colleges and universities on their website. UNC Chapel Hill and NC State are not participating, but there are a lot of other options out there for students. The last day for students to apply without paying those application fees is this Friday, October 20th. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
School boards and county commissions from two counties are coming together today in Rocky Mount. They'll be discussing plans to separate the Nash and Edgecombe school districts along county lines. The city of Rocky Mount is split between the two counties, and because of this, some students who live in Edgecombe County go to schools run by Nash County, which is supposed to be paid by Edgecombe County to educate those kids. Well, Nash and Edgecombe County leaders, as well as the school board members, hope to submit the final demerger plan next month. We're at 8:40 right now on your Monday. Coming up, a landlord in suburban Chicago is facing charges for a hate crime against a child. How the president is reacting to the hateful act.
Plus, the NC State Fair is in full swing. How the fair created a safe environment for those with sensory sensitivities over the weekend.
And we'll give you this live look. Pinehurst Resort and Country Club this morning. Beautiful day out there. Cool mornings. They are moving in for this week. And Elizabeth Gardner will tell us which days we should have a jacket when we head out. I will tell you, it's 8:44 right now on your Monday morning, and that right on cue, the camera stops in a beautiful view there. This is a resort cam, Buckeye Lake, Beach Mountain. Look at the colors up there in the mountain as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Elizabeth, I know you were up in the mountains this weekend checking it out. You saw very much that same picture, right?
It looked just like that. And you can tell there's a little bit of green that's still there, even at those high elevations at Beach Mountain. So you've got at least 2 more solid weeks of really good color in our mountains, and maybe even into November. So plenty of time left. It was so worth being up there this past weekend. It was lovely. I mean, the weather was meh, but the leaves were beautiful. 49 is our current temperature. It is chilly. The gates of the State Fair are about to open here in 15 minutes at 9 o'clock, and it's chilly, and you may need your jacket all day there. Lots of sunshine. This is a look at Futurecast. We're nice and bright all the way up until the late afternoon, and then we're going to see a disturbance that rolls in. You can see at 5 o'clock some cloud cover dropping in here, and there could be a sprinkle, but most of us are going to stay dry. It's not something that I'd be too concerned about. State Fair forecast looking good. We're going to see a good bit of sunshine for it today. Our lunchtime temperature around 60, and we only climb up to 63 for the high this afternoon, so it's going to be a chilly one. Live look at Durham. We woke up this morning to a good bit of cloud cover, and those clouds have dissipated quickly. Beautiful view of downtown Durham right now. 49, so it's chilly. We'll climb into the low 60s at 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see a high of 63, in Durham 61, and in Fayetteville 66. We take a look at some more cool mornings in our forecast. Our normal low, which tends to happen right around 6:30 or 7 o'clock this time of year, it's 51. Tomorrow 44, Wednesday 48, and Thursday 49. So it's going to be a little chilly out there. We had Saturday's front come by and allow the cooler air to slide in. You could feel it yesterday. You'll feel it today and tomorrow. But by Wednesday, some warmer air kicks that out. But very quickly, right behind it, we have more cool air that dives in behind Friday's front and brings us some cooler temperatures for the weekend. 73, our normal high. 63 today, 66 Tuesday, and then we're into the low 70s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday's going to bring us the next best chance for rain. That's our next front that rolls in. Right now, it looks like it may be late on Friday, could be as late as midnight, so maybe an overnight into early Saturday morning event for us, but we'll get the new versions of the high resolution models coming in about 48 hours, and we'll be able to time that out for you a little better. So if you do have plans to be out on Friday evening, keep checking back with us. Beyond that, the weekend looks nice and dry. Could be a lingering shower for early Saturday morning, but for the bulk of us, it looks like it'll be nice for Saturday and Sunday. A little chilly, still sweater weather.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Police in Illinois have charged a 71-year-old man with a hate crime for stabbing and killing a 6-year-old boy. They say the child died after being stabbed 26 times all over his body. The child's 32-year-old mother was also seriously injured with more than a dozen stab wounds. Authorities say they believe the suspect targeted the victims because of their Muslim faith. Police have identified the suspect as the victim's landlord, Joseph Kazuba. He's facing charges including first-degree murder and 2 counts of hate crime. In a statement released overnight, President Joe Biden urged all Americans to come together and reject Islamophobia in all forms of bigotry and hatred. After years of money issues, Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy. The pharmacy chain will also close more stores. The company will restructure and name a new chief executive. The Wall Street Journal reports an auction will be held for a buyer. Rite Aid's bankruptcy filing comes amid long-term finance problems, failed mergers, and lawsuits stemming from the opioid crisis.
A brief strike is over after Canadian auto workers agreed to a new labor contract with General Motors. 80% of union members voted in favor of the plan, which includes base wage hikes and improved pensions. The strike lasted about 13 hours before a tentative agreement was reached Tuesday afternoon. The standoff threatened GM's plants in the U.S. that are dependent on parts from Canada. The United Auto Workers strike in the U.S. still continues. Those who are affected by the Israel-Hamas war are eligible for a tax break from the IRS. The tax relief is for people and businesses who might not meet the tax payment or filing deadline because of the war. Those eligible will have until October 7th of next year to file their taxes. Those who live in this covered area of Israel, the West Bank, or Gaza can qualify for the extensions. Official relief workers can also qualify. Eligible taxpayers can contact the IRS disaster call line for information.
A new state law is prompting some schools to change how they're enrolling students in sex ed. North Carolina school systems are responding to the so-called Parents' Bill of Rights. Our WRAL Education Insider reports that at least one school system is now requiring families to sign their kids up for it, and most of them haven't done it. That's Charlotte-Mecklenburg. Others are saying that parents still don't need to sign up, but parents can still opt out. State education officials are still looking into what the law requires. Some think that requiring parents to sign their kids up could lead to fewer kids taking sex ed. Experts credit comprehensive sex education with helping reduce infections and teen births, alongside increased access to birth control. You can read our in-depth report in the education section on WRAL.com.
The NC State Fair is rolling now, bringing in big crowds for the second day of opening weekend. And yesterday, the fair hosted its Accessibility Day. So if you were there in the morning hours, you may have noticed things were a bit quieter than usual. That's because vendors and rides turned off all their music and lights to accommodate people with sensory sensitivities. The fair also added adult changing stations and handed out noise-canceling headphones, hoping to show a world of acceptance and awareness. Organizers also created a bandwidth chill-out zone for kids and families who needed a break. Remember to look for our tent on the northeast side of Dorton Arena this afternoon, facing Restaurant Row. A couple of opportunities to meet some of the folks from WRAL, your favorites. Ken Smith and Anthony Baglione will be there 10:30 to 11:30 this morning, and then this afternoon, it's Deborah Morgan and Dan Haggerty who are out there greeting viewers from 2 until 3 p.m.
The Triangle's first neonatal intensive care unit celebrated 50 years with a fun reunion. Take a look at all the people that came out on Sunday. Hundreds of patients from over the years and their families made their way to Wake Med for the event. It served as a space to bring families and staff together to see how the hospital's tiniest patients have grown.
It really does our hearts good and fills us up to see all these families thriving and all these kiddos who, we knew as tiny little nuggets who have now gotten big and just to see what they've all gone on to do. Anytime we can see our community come back together, thriving and doing well, that's why we're here.
Adorable tiny nuggets. That's so cute. Those in attendance were able to enjoy refreshments, carnival games, arts and crafts, and more.
People gathered to remember George Floyd in Fayetteville over the weekend. Floyd would have turned 50 years old this weekend. He was born in Fayetteville, and people gathered in Festival Park to honor him. Floyd was killed in May of 2020 when a Minnesota police officer pressed his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Events scheduled to celebrate Floyd's life include panel discussions, readings, and choir and dance performances.
The Kelly Clarkson Show is back. Season 5 premieres today on WRAL, and all new this year, the show is filming in New York City. Here's a sneak peek.
It's time, y'all. Come on! I feel good. Yeah, I know that I would not.
It's a new season from my new home in NYC.
Woohoo, the Concrete Jungle. You can watch the season premiere of The Kelly Clarkson Show today at 2 p.m. on WRAL.
Texas Rangers beat the Houston Astros 2-0 last night. It was Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. So the Rangers now lead that best-of-7 series 1-0. The winner will advance to the World Series, where they will meet either the Philadelphia Phillies or Arizona Diamondbacks. Carolina Hurricanes suffered their first loss of the season, early going in the NHL. No worries. They played the Anaheim Ducks late last night. Ducks were up the whole game. Late in the third period, though, the Canes made a push. Got to within 1 goal, but a pair of empty netters from the Ducks sealed this one. The Canes fall 6-3, the final. They're coming off a 6-5, 9-round shootout win at Los Angeles Saturday night late. This West Coast swing, I'll tell you, that's opened their 6-game road swing. It continues with the Canes at San Jose tomorrow night.
Well, no surprise, Taylor Swift fans turned out in full force at movie theaters this weekend.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
Overwhelming dominance for the movie version of Swift's concert tour. 7 out of every 10 movie tickets sold this weekend were for the Eras Tour. The announcement of her movie in August took everyone by surprise. It made a scary Friday the 13th for other films like The Exorcist, which had to move its premiere to the 6th as not to compete with the Swift film. Good idea. All right, we'll be right back.